What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Maverick Raven coming at you with another video, and this is breaking news, you guys. We got uh, an announcement here from the Vatican. The first Pope ever from the United States, Robert Prevost. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Excuse me. First Pope from the U.S. in history of the Catholic Church takes the name Leo the 14th. Not who I would have picked. There was a candidate there that was super based, and I was really hoping, for him to go, but my candidate lost. I didn't. This guy apparently was one of the likely successors, and he, he's making history, dude. We're gonna get into this from the AP, but before we do, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. All that stuff really helps out the channel. Gives me a nice dopamine hit, lets me know I'm doing okay. Plus, we'd love to have you be the newest member of the flock. The flock is for life. So come check us out, guys. We'd love to have you. The air is for everyone. Now, this is important. This is historical. Whether you're Catholic, whether you're a Christian, whether you're an atheist, doesn't matter. If you hate the Catholic Church, doesn't matter, because this is a person that wields a lot of influence and power through that influence, So, either way, you guys, I don't know. We'll see how this Pope ends up working, But it is nice to have the first U.S. Pope, but that's just me kind of being overly tribal, I don't know, man. That shouldn't matter, I would want the guy that has the most principles aligned with me, and I know I'm supposed to basically follow whatever the Pope says, because he's supposed to be the representative of Jesus Christ on earth or whatever. But bro, I can't do it, man. Like, I'm a lapsed Catholic, dude. I'm having some serious problems with reconciling some of the stuff that Pope Francis said and the stuff that he preached. I'm not with it, bro. I like my King James version of the Bible, you know what I mean? It means a lot to me. That's what my faith is, Anyways, let's read. It says, Catholic cardinals broke with tradition Thursday and elected the first U.S. Pope, making Chicago-born missionary Robert Prevost the 267th pontiff to lead the Catholic Church in a moment of global turmoil and conflict. Global turmoil and conflict is a little thick, but, the world's going through the same shit it always goes through, war, right? Prevost, a 69-year-old member of the Augustinian religious order who spent his career ministering in Peru, took the name Leo XIV. In his first words as Pope Francis' successor, uttered from the loggia of St. Peter's Basilica, Leo said, "Peace be with you," and emphasized the message of a disarmed and a disarming peace, dialogue, and missionary evangelization. He wore the traditional red cape and trappings of the papacy, a cape that Francis had eschewed on his election in 2013, suggesting a return to some degree of tradition after Francis's unorthodox pontificate. That's to say the least unorthodox. But in naming himself Leo, the new pope could also have wanted to signal a strong line of continuity. Brother Leo was a 13th century friar who was a great companion to St. Francis of Assisi, the late pope's namesake. Together we must try to find out how to be a missionary church, a church that builds bridges, establishes dialogue, that's open to receive, like on this piazza, with open arms to be able to receive everybody that needs our charity, our presence, dialogue, and love. Leo said in near perfect Italian, mentioning the saint considered the first pope. Prevost had been a leading cardinal for the papacy, but there had long been a taboo against a U.S. Pope, given the geopolitical power the country already wields. Why is that important, bro? You know what I'm saying? Just pick the right man for the job. Pick the person that fits the best. The person who fits the mold of what a Pope should be, man. But Prevost was seemingly eligible because he's also a Peruvian citizen and had lived for years in Peru, first as a missionary and then as an archbishop, and cardinals may have thought the 21st century world order could handle a U.S.-born pope. So ridiculous, bro. You see the politics and everything, bro? And this is something that should not have any politics whatsoever. Faith should not go with your faith should line up with your political views, obviously. But faith and politics are two different things, bro. You know? Such bullshit. Francis, history's first Latin American pope, clearly had his eye on Prevost and in many ways saw him as his heir apparent. He sent Prevost to take over a complicated diocese in Peru, then brought him to the Vatican in 2023 to serve as the powerful head of the office that vets bishop nominations from around the world, one of the most important jobs in the Catholic Church. And in January, Francis elevated Prevost into the senior ranks of cardinals, giving him prominence going into the conclave that few other cardinals had. Since arriving in Rome, Prevost had kept a low profile but was well known to the men who count. Significantly, he presided over one of the most revolutionary reforms Francis made when he added three women to the voting block that decides which bishop nominations to forward to the Pope. So he kind of had the job squared up already, man, and the whole thing was a charade. Nah, let me say it like an American, right? Charade, man. It was all a charade. The crowd in St. Peter's Square erupted in cheers Thursday when white smoke poured out of the Sistine Chapel shortly after 6 p.m. on the second day of the conclave. Damn, so it was kind of a relatively short one. The most geographically diverse in history. Priests made the signs of the cross, and nuns wept as the crowd shouted, "Viva el Papa." Waving flags from around the world, tens of thousands of people waited for more than an hour to learn who had won, and were surprised an hour later when the senior cardinal deacon appeared on the loggia, said, "Habemus Papam." We have a pope in Latin, and announced the winner was Prevost. He spoke to the crowd in Italian and Spanish, but not English, honoring Pope Francis and his final salute to the crowd on Easter Sunday. Greetings to all of you, and in particular to my beloved diocese of Chiclayo in Peru, where a faithful people have accompanied their bishop, shared their faith, he said in Spanish. U.S. President Donald Trump said it was such an honor for our country for the new pope to be American. What greater honor can there be, Trump said. The president added that we're a little bit surprised and we're happy. Yeah, that's awesome, dude. I mean, it's cool to buck norms and kind of, make a name in history, but let's see, man, because the Catholic Church is old school, man, and I know a lot of people think that you got to change with the times, but that's not anywhere in the Bible. It doesn't say anywhere in the Bible that you got to change with the times. If anything, it says the exact opposite. It says that there's certain truths that are just gonna last forever, and you can choose to ignore them. And so, according to the Bible, you're following Satan and his whispers of evil and shit. So, I don't know, man. I don't know, dude. There's a lot of stuff in the Bible that obviously everybody kind of, second guesses. Some, even like me, man. Like I'm still kind of hung up on some of Timothy, from the Old Testament, that women can't be preachers, for example. I don't know why women wouldn't be able to be preachers, man. Like, I know historically, obviously, but I can't reconcile that in my inner monologue, you know what I'm saying? So, I don't know, it's weird. It's weird. I get some traditions, I don't know, man. It all depends on what you believe, dude. Let's see here. The last pope to take the name Leo was Leo the 13th, an Italian who led the church from 1878 to 1903. That Leo softened the church's confrontational stance towards modernity, especially science and politics, and laid the foundation for modern Catholic social thought. That's kind of scary, bro. I don't know where the Catholic Church is going to go to next, dude. But the video, you guys, all this is pretty much housekeeping and talking about how it happened or whatever. Look at this. Archbishop Bernard Hebda of the Archdiocese of St. Paul in Minneapolis told reporters he never thought he would see an American pope, given the questions of how how anyone would navigate dealing with a U.S. president, especially Trump. See, this just not necessary, dude. Just really not necessary. But they always want to make it about Trump. That's why I try not to watch these leftist leaning news sites, you know? Anyways, it says, how is it that the Holy Father is able to deal with President Trump, for example, whoever our American president, you have to bring it back in, right? Would those ties be too close or too distant? He said, and so I just never imagined that we would have an American Pope, and I have great confidence that Pope Leo will do a wonderful job of navigating that. Well, I hope so, man. I hope so. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. These are like uncertain times for the Catholic Church. We'll see. All right, you guys. The comment section is there for you guys. It's there to be used. So please feel free to use it. What would you guys like to see next? What do you guys think about this? Are you surprised that we finally have a U.S. born Pope? Or does it even matter? Doesn't really matter to me. It's kind of cool that history is being made. But I just hope that he's the right guy for the job, you know? I just hope that he's not going to try to rewrite Catholicism, because that's not really what it's about, man. It's about what 2,000 years ago, somebody who said was the son of God. It's about following the rules that he said, not 2025 rules. But I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe that's just me being an old man, dude, Anyways, you guys, as always, it is such a pleasure to be able to hang out with you guys, and thank you so much for being able to stick here with us. As always, 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 stay safe and stay based.